Travis Wayne Goodsell. Back from my run. 3 days in a row of rain. Awesome. Which also may be a big part of why we had the earthquake in Magna. Water tends to do that. But as I'm going over yesterday's ABC4 News Utah YouTube posts, vlogs, segments, whatever they're called, and then listening to a couple other people on YouTube as well, I'm getting very concerned because we as Americans tend to go to the extreme on something, turning it into a fad, and then it becomes old hat, old news. For example, old hat. Millennials, what are you talking about, old hat? And so, so now the socially responsible thing is now the fad of social distancing. And people are social distancing when they don't even have symptoms. And governments are shutting down states and cities, and people are pushing to shut down the whole nation to isolate everybody when we don't even have symptoms. And so with the Me Too movement, which became a fad, it started off as something serious and trying to get people's attention on the abuses that are going on. It turned into a fad, and then everybody wanted to be a Me Tooer, and people started making false accusations so that they can be a part of the Me Too movement. And then it turned into a Jussie Smollett situation where he lied about getting beat up as a gay man, and as Jesse's thing backfired on him, so too did the Me Too movement implode, as false accusations were being dismissed in courts. I mean, yeah, we've got Weinstein, but it wasn't as big a news story as it could have been had it not turned into a fad. If we just kept it as a crime, the Weinstein thing would have been a bigger deal. But people then turned into a social responsibility to keep hands off of women. And Fred Cox, I hope that was her husband. Fred Cox has hired, names, his running mate. Fred Cox is running for governor now. He has no chance of winning, just like he has no chance of getting back in the state legislature. But he's named a lieutenant. Oh no, that's not her name. It's just lieutenant governor. I don't know her name, but she's walking up the stairs in the Capitol with some other guy. I hope it's her husband, because he was very grabby, like Biden. I'm a little concerned that it's not her husband, because if it was her husband, he would have, touched her. But for him to sort of touch her and be in the position to touch her, and it was just creepy. If it was her husband, it was still creepy. So it's ABC4 News Utah. Spencer Cox names his running mate. So it was just creepy. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing ABC4 News Utah now ruining the coverage of the earthquake by saying, oh, now that this has happened and we weren't prepared, now we're going to talk all about preparedness. And everybody's going to forget when the next one comes along. So ABC4 News Utah is just ruining it. And so here we have preparing for a disaster, preparing for disasters, emergency preparedness again, daycares adjust to COVID-19 precautions. That's actually a news story. And then online funeral services. That's how messed up this all is. That we can't even have a funeral service for our dead. And then here, coronavirus preparation versus panic. See, they're telling us to get over it. That's what pisses me off about psychiatrists. They always tell people to get over it. They don't address the problem. They never address the problem. They never go to the core. They claim mental illness, but they don't do any investigation into the brain to identify a malady, like, a medical doctor does. And as a result, they do symptom management. And I heard that yesterday, is that the cure, the shot for coronavirus, is still 2 years away. But, there's symptom managements that are available over the counter. My hell. And so, it's just so frustrating to watch my local news. And when we lose the internet service and we're forced to watch local news on free digital, I won't be able to watch it. I'll be yelling at the screen the whole time. And then here's breaking news. So prepare yourselves. You may want to sit down for this. Rancho Markets, Mexican fruit salad. That's what I have to deal with local news. They don't cover news. They advertise. My hell. But yesterday, the Red Cross donation is short because nobody wants to be with other people while they donate. And it's just, these problems could be fixed. We don't have to shut down. We don't have to isolate. Oh, God. I mean, in the buses yesterday, I'm seeing some bus drivers with face masks, and I'm thinking, this shouldn't need to be. Because if they designed the buses in the first place to have the bus driver have a door on his side, and then he can have a partition blocking it off so that he doesn't have contact with any of the passengers. And so the passengers would just come in and scan or put the money in. And a ticket transfer or whatever would be given to them automatically. And it's just, things could be done so much easier if people just had the foresight, the preparedness, not the aftermath. Because they're not talking about preparedness now. It's too late for preparedness. So, I mean, the UTA tracks line, the driver is in a locked section of the train, and so he can't be disturbed. Why can't they do that for buses? It's not complicated. It's a simple procedure. And man, alright, so enough of this. But, please, guys, don't do the social trending thing, the socially correct. You know, when political correctness came out, I was among the first to say, no, political correctness is politically incorrect. You know, common sense is not sensical. It's not sound. People just get carried away, swept away as zombies. Oh, yes, this is the new fad. I am cool. Look at me doing the new fad. Be yourself, people. Be yourself. And here's one thing interesting, though, that is actual news. Brian Gosh called in to request a test for COVID-19, the coronavirus. See, I got caught up in it. It's coronavirus. It's not COVID-19. Yes, it's the scientific term, and scientists refer to it as such. We're not scientists in the field. We call it coronavirus. But he wanted to test, so he calls the Intermountain Medical Center and says, hey, I want to test, and the person says, no. And so, being the Mormon Utah that he is, he then starts to say, I'm going to put a bomb in your office and put a bomb in this place and bomb in that place. And so, yeah, he's now in jail on terroristic threats. Which is interesting because bullying is not considered a threat. But if you say you're going to bomb something, that's now a threat. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, if somebody bullies you, they're the threat. You know, the church lawyers using Percy Pearson to threaten my life to drop the lawsuit against the church. That is bullying threats. But they don't get it. You know, when I turned in my book, which was a petition for a redress of grievances, and I filed it with the proper departments, they instead said, uh-oh, we've got to beat him to the punch and accuse him instead. And then here, again, somebody's trying to be socially responsible in Utah, as hundreds of Utahns volunteer for grocery deliveries to families. See, this is great that they're doing that, but people are going to get left out because people are going to see this and go, "Oh, okay, everybody's taken care of, everything's fine now." No, it's not. It's just these rogue people who are taking it upon themselves to do something that a government has not already implemented. They were not prepared for. See, this is an example of what I was talking about, where there are other options than just locking us up and telling us we can't leave the home, because there are problems that result from that, from using fascism. My goodness, it's taken forever to the video, and I never did get to talk about what I wanted to talk about. I was going to talk about how to study the Book of Mormon. And I went off on a tangent, several tangents. But yeah, they're trying to make this a fad, yay, but it's not organized. It needs to be organized. We can't just have random people doing it, because what this is showing is that our government has failed here in Utah. And ABC4 News Utah doesn't understand that yet. They're just saying, oh, yay, look at socially responsible Utahns taking care of their neighbors. Well, yeah, but guess what that means? Governor Herbert is a failure. Because this is the type of thing he needed to be planning if he's going to shut down businesses. And he didn't think of that. You know, he's the Mormon. He's governor. That's king for Utah. And he couldn't think of that. A regular Mormon thought of it. And so great for the Utah Mormon who thought of it, but it needs to be organized. You need to develop an organization now to make sure that everybody's taken care of, because the governor isn't doing the job. California just shut down last night, and they're not implementing this. California is a lot larger population. People just rush to fascism as the solution to everything. Just pisses me off. So, and it's just going to be negative consequences, guys. We don't want fascism. Fascism is not the way. And Utah just refuses. We're practicing fascism and we're going to stay fascist. Alright, enough of this. I still have 16 minutes on the other one. Oh, man. I mean, it was a 45-minute video, but yeah, this is their new way of slowing things down. Slow the processing down automatically on the system. But yeah, things have got to change. This is just unacceptable.